Hi guys, today I want to talk to you about the new collection from Dede Signature. Now these are the Plume collection is what it's called. It's a collaboration with Makeup on the Radar, which I don't know who this creator is, so I guess in a sense it makes it easier for me to be not biased when it comes to reviewing this collection. I'm going to show you all of the palettes, I'm going to show you swatches, I'm going to show you a look with each of the palettes, and then I'm going to tell you my thoughts, but I'm going to do this review a little bit differently in that I'm going to show you things and talk about the palettes and not do a look on camera because originally I was going to do a fourth look, but honestly I've made up my mind about this, and I feel like because I have other things that I also need to film with, I don't need to spend more time on this collection. So I'm sorry I'm not going to be like actually wearing any of these eyeshadows in this video, but I still want to give you my thoughts on them and show you the looks that I have already done because I have a lot of thoughts and I'm honestly just not sure about these. So these are launching on the 20th. Okay, so it doesn't have a time, it just says launching on the 20th and the pre-orders are on August 16th. So I will link her website down below. I don't think my code will work on this, but you can try code Annette if you're interested in any of these. But since it is a collab, it probably will not work. So we're gonna start with, how am I gonna do this? So I guess let's just start with one of the palettes. This is the Extravagance palette, and I think that overall this collection is a little bit not cohesive. I don't know. I feel like the color stories in these palettes are, for me, not something that I can see myself reaching for as standalone palettes. I find them a little bit weirdly paired, and I guess that's just like a me thing. Like color stories, I know what I kind of like to work with together, and I feel like these are very much just, they feel very random to me, if that makes sense. I feel like this one is probably the one that makes the most sense, that is the easiest to do like a full look with using mattes and shimmers and having it sort of blend nicely together and be a cohesive look. I think that the shimmers in this palette are beautiful. I didn't have any issues with this palette in particular. I think this one performed really well. Overall, I think the mattes in all of the palettes have performed well. It's mostly the shimmers that I've had some issues with, and I will get to that when we get to it. But I think the Extravagance palette is, performance-wise, the one that I like the most, even if it's maybe not the color story that I like the most. I think I'm just gonna leave it like at that with this palette because we do have more to get through as well. Let's talk about the Elegance palette. Now the Elegance palette is the one that I used last, so I think I used that yesterday, or maybe it was 2 days ago. I think that for me, again, the color story, I don't think the shimmer really goes with the matte, even though the shimmer does have a pretty like strong green shift to it. It also can look a little bit too like warm tone to go with the, I don't know. It could just, again, it could just be a me thing. For me, I find it weird to pair these mattes with the shimmer, so I didn't even use the mattes together with the shimmer. I just wanted to use the shimmer on its own to see how it performed. This one actually performed really well. I didn't have much creasing with it. The wear time was pretty nice, and I like the look that I did. This was a palette that if I was gonna do a look with today on camera, I would have used the mattes in here, but having just swatched all of these and having used the mattes in the other two palettes, I feel like, again, the mattes are pretty solid, and I don't think that these would be any different. I can absolutely see myself using the mattes from these palettes, just kind of pairing them with other shimmers, not the ones that it comes with. I do like the creativity and that they're different. They're not something that we've seen before, but I also don't feel like they're that user-friendly. That's kind of like my thoughts so far on the collection. Let's talk about the Elegance palette. This I thought was going to be my favorite when I first saw the four palettes because this also sort of makes a little bit more sense. I do maybe wish that there was, I don't know, one more shimmer in this palette. I don't know. I feel like it does make sense that the blue kind of goes with the purples, and it can also go with the teal and the black. So in that sense, it makes sense, and I like the look that I did with this, but honestly, the wear time that I had with this blue shimmer was really, really, really bad. Like, it creased so badly on me, and also the mattes wore badly on me, which is very unusual, and I use the same primer that I've been using for a long time now. And yeah, I don't know, like this kind of just wore off on me, which is very unusual for eyeshadows to do that. I don't usually struggle with wear time when it comes to my eyeshadows. So when I saw that after 3 hours or 4 hours, it looked like, I think I took a picture, I'll show you, it looked like this. I was very blown away and disappointed, and I couldn't really believe that that happened, because like that never happens to me. And I've heard other people say that they struggle with mattes not wearing well on them, and I'm like, I can't relate. But now I'm like, maybe that's what they're talking about, and maybe this is what happens to them as well. So I don't know if this was like user error, if there's something in the formula in this palette that just did not really vibe with me. I really don't know, but those are at least my thoughts on the Elegance palette. I do like the color story, but the performance of this one on me just wasn't what I expected. And I usually don't have problems with Dede Signature's formula, so I was a little like taken aback by that. Now let's talk about the Epresent palette. I don't know how to say that word. I don't even know what that means, but this is an all shimmer palette, and this shade came shattered for me, which I mean happens sometimes with eyeshadows, but I definitely have some thoughts on this. I feel like the formulas in here are not very consistent. I think there are 3 of them that are really, really nice that I very much enjoy. And then there are 2 of them. And these 2 would be this shade right here, which is the blue one. This one is very extremely dry, extremely crumbly, and just like chalky and thick at the same time. And when I swatched it, I was like, ew, because I hadn't actually used this one on my eyes yet. And I don't mean ew and like, ew, that's disgusting, but I was just like very surprised by the texture of it, because it's not what I expected. This shade right here is very difficult to pick up on a brush, and it's a little thick, so like when you put it on the eye, sometimes you'll get like these large chunks that sort of just stick to your eye that are harder to blend out, and it doesn't look smooth. It just kind of looks like a big chunk. Even used with the finger, it's a little bit tricky to get it to look the way that you want. This one, and this one are beautiful. These 2, not really sure. I feel like they could have been better, and I wish that all of the colors in here were the same formula, because then I would have loved this so much. Like I have yet to find an all shimmer palette like this that is like small and compact. That's not the Illusion palette from Blend Bunny, which I adore that palette. I think it's amazing, and that is what I'm looking for in like iridescent shadows. But I would love an eyeshadow palette that has like smaller pans with just iridescent shadows that are all like beautiful formulated, and I just haven't quite found that yet. So I think like overall, I don't know if I would recommend this launch from Dede Signature, but if you are a fan of the creator, you want to support her, I think that you can absolutely make these palettes work. And you saw the looks that I did, and like they look really pretty. And I don't know, I guess those are just my thoughts. Like I hate giving a bad review to a collaboration, but at the same time, like I said, I don't know the collaborator. I really have no bias towards her in any way, so I guess for you guys that's good. And I always make sure to say that if I know the creator, I'm probably going to be a little bit biased, but since I don't, this is just a regular launch from Dede Signature for me, and I'm reviewing it as such, so this is nothing personal towards the creator at all. And I'm sure that the looks that she has done with these have been beautiful. I haven't watched any of the content, and I'm filming this pretty early, so I guess those are just going to be my thoughts. I'm sorry if this was a bit of a negative review and you didn't get to see me do a look on camera, but you still got to see a couple of looks and hear my thoughts. And I'm going to go ahead and start filming with something else that I really need to film with, because I feel like why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone when I can. So I'm going to try to be a little productive and get some stuff done. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was at least somewhat helpful. If you want to see some more Dede Signature content, I do have a playlist I will put on screen. And if you are new, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.